And this is the weird thing that has me wondering what's going on is Pierre Gasly after the race said, we discussed things before the race and we came to an agreement, and he didn't honour that agreement.
What was the agreement?
What was the agreement? Don't drive into me and crash us both out of the race? Like, what does that mean?
Also, do you not have that agreement all the time?
Remember how cool that first lap was? Remember how awesome it was when the two Alpine drivers decided to just get a real close look at each other? And Ocon decided that he was playing Rocket League, and he just jumped over his teammate, headed the ball into the tunnel, and then blew back into the harbour. Esteban Ocon sees Pierre Gasly next to him, and he thinks, I can GTA this bitch right over that ramp and get into the water from here. And I mean, it's really got a lot of people asking questions about what's going on with Esteban Ocon. Why does he hate his team and his teammates in particular? And is he even going to be racing next race?
I think he's a rogue. I think he's a rogue agent. I think that he's like seemingly so many Formula One races right now. There's just like, you raced in Formula One, then obviously we've got an open seat. Like, you'll be the one in the seat because you've been in a Formula One race before. So
you've done the thing.
Instead of looking at literally anyone else and being like, okay, you've been racing Formula 3, Formula 2, you've won races, you've been around all of these circuits, we could probably promote you. It's like, no, let's take this guy who's got an incredibly long track record of being a middle of the road racer and sometimes being a bit mean and sometimes being a bit rogue, actually. Let's give him the drive. I would say that both of them being at Alpine has been a bit of a disaster, really. I feel like we've gotten this weird... Renault have just continued along being just a bit shit, and I don't think either of those drivers have helped at all. And yeah, they have gone backwards. I think they thought with Pierre, maybe, because he had that pretty good run at... what was Toro Rosso, I suppose, was it? Or Alfa Toro back then? I can't remember. What are they now? VB, cardcashapp.com/crypto. He had a pretty good run. And then he went to, and we're like, okay, yeah, go to Renault. That makes sense. You're French, they're French. It's all French here. And then they were like, who's the other French driver? Grosjean is here. No, he's gone.
Great Belgian beers in France.
Yeah, exactly. What about Ocon? He's the other French guy. Put him in the car. It's a match made in heaven. And really, I don't know they really like each other. I don't know.
They famously have beef that goes back decades, and they assured us all they were over it.
They'd squashed it.
Turns out that was a lie.
Yeah.
And so they pulled one over all of us. They absolutely hate each other to the degree, and this is the weird thing that has me wondering what's going on is Pierre Gasly after the race said, we discussed things before the race and we came to an agreement, and he didn't honour that agreement.
What was the agreement?
What was the agreement? Don't drive into me and crash us both out of the race? Like, what does that mean?
Also, do you not have that agreement all the time?
Yeah.
Why do you need to do... No, there's agreements on one race only, then we craft a new agreement every single time.
Completely renegotiate everything every race.
Yeah, exactly, because
it's the French way.
Conditions change. It's the French way. Of course, French law.
It's French law. So, what? Like,
so tell me about him not racing next race. Tell me. I haven't heard this rumor. You're on some deep rumor.
I'm being pretty cheeky because online, first of all, there was apparently, and I don't.
Adrian knew he's hopping in the car. That's what he's doing. He's gonna race around.
One of the Alpine bigwigs, one of the big
and
troughs at the start.
You would have a big, really big padded wig.
Absolutely. And he was smoking a cigarette out of one of those long filters, the long black things, and had really thin pencil mustache as well, and other stereotypical things. And he said to French press, apparently, we're going to have to really take a hard look at this situation, and there will be consequences. And then there's the vaguest of allusions. Sky Sports are reporting the vaguest of allusions to the fact that Ocon may be benched at the Canadian Grand Prix. And then everyone is repeating that as dumped, Ocon, sidelined. Absolutely. I'm like, well, that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I don't think it will happen. And I mean, there's been incidents from Ocon's past where I've been on his side, like when Max Verstappen tried to hit him in the face and stuff like that. When Sergio Perez pushed him in, I think it was Singapore, just drove right into him. When I think Sergio Perez pushed him into the wall at Spa one year. There's been times when I've been like, this Esteban Ocon guy, he's
He's
just,
finding himself in fights.
well,
Mm.
God, it takes two to tango, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But what, I mean, what's really come to the surface is this: he's a rat. He's a real rat.
I think that's mean. I don't know. He's at a certain point, you have to just kind of say, what are you bringing here? And this is where Formula One I find frustrating because compared to other sports, you might just kind of be like, well, you know what? It's not working out. I don't think you're great. And luckily, there's 100 other drivers we could choose from, 100 other competitors. But there's so much wrapped up into contract and sponsorship and brand and how hard it is to, and like the points that he's accumulated, and like, do you want to bring in a new guy who's like, yeah, I know obviously constructors matters, but like, what about the individual and just all, and his family and like his agent and his team and his engineer, and like the car's designed for this guy, so it's hard to just like swap it in for another guy. All of these things combined just make it so drivey. I was going to say sticky for a driver, but tricky for a striver. Which is why I think you see like Kevin Magnussen stays in Formula One forever, even though he's good. He's pretty rogue. We've seen this down the line for ages of drivers who are like on their day are great drivers, but the rest of the time just make such weird decisions. And there is absolutely no reason for you to make a pass on your teammate at Monaco in a really bad spot. Exactly.
That's what makes me wonder whether the discussion was whoever leads into the tunnel, was something like that, like something really specific, like whoever's leading going into the tunnel gets preference. Like, but I mean, there's just, I mean, of all the places to throw it up the inside, why that corner? It doesn't make any sense. But I mean, you'd have to wonder whether there's something going on behind the scenes in terms of, I mean, I've heard whispers both drivers want to get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
Maybe there's like, maybe Alpine want to get rid of them, and they're like, we're at most keeping one of you. Yeah, I think that would be Pierre Gasly at this stage if he wants to stay.
Yeah, the driver market stuff's interesting, right? I saw that Carlos Sainz could be after Williams. Just he's got a gap year. He's got to fill somewhere, right? He's got to go somewhere.
We'll talk about Red Bull next, but man, Sainz going from Ferrari winning races to Williams now
being fine. Yeah, wow. Look, this is the Formula One we've inherited, Rod, where there's a few good teams, but they've only got a few seats. So, maybe Williams will have some upgrades in a few weeks. That's somewhere good. I don't know. You never know. But yeah, I went to Alpine very quickly, just racing into insignificance, and I just don't think they've called everything wrongly. I don't think they got their driver lineup right. I think their name is bad, even though they're a race. But it's a bespoke car company. Like that's not Renault. Just be Renault if you want to do that. Why do you have to be Alpine? What a weird way to get a bunch of sponsorship money in. I just don't think people care. And then in this year of our Lord 2024, when brand is so important to Formula One, like more important than it has ever been, that people can get behind Visa, Cash App, RB. They can. Like people get behind that brand because they're like, well, people like Yuki and people like Ricardo. Like at least people might not know how to say the name of the car. They'll just call it Little Red Bull, and they like these two guys.
They're peacocking is what it is.
They're peacocking. They're paramounting. They're doing all of these things. Yeah, it's
all those things.
There's something around that, and I think that Alpine have just gotten it just incredibly wrong.
They're wrong in they've made the wrong call in every way.
Yeah.
Who to sign for drivers, how to brand the car, what to invest, the personnel. There's just nothing you can point to that's like, that's a good Formula One team. That's how you run it. That's a well-run team right there.
Yeah.
Sad times. Concerning.
I'm not concerned for them. I reckon maybe Andretti will buy the team.
Crash, crash, crashy, crash, crash, crash. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Crash, crash, crashy, crash, crash, crash. He said it's my fault. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, yeah.